What up, world? It's your boy Trees Trim signing on, screaming, go get the money. And welcome back to another episode of the Hotseat Podcast, where we're always putting a spotlight on entrepreneurs, small business owners, black-owned businesses, artists, musicians, athletes, in our community. Today, we are back with a brother that may look familiar to some of y'all, but to the ones that are not familiar, this is Trevor Woodruff,
How you
the
doing,
most
man?
controversial man on the planet right now.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the show,
Thank you.
brother. Happy New Year and all that good stuff. One thing I'm gonna acknowledge right off top is growth. Because I feel like the last time I sat down with Trevor, he was in a good space, but I feel like you see the wingtips, you see the suit. You know what I mean? You see what he doing. He had the Louis Vuitton bag when he walked there. I'm just saying, man, the brother looks like he's growing. And that's what we all about on this platform, man. So first, I want to salute that. You know what I mean? We usually start out with who are you? You've answered that question before, but obviously you're evolving. So you want to just retouch on that?
Let's put it like this. I'm an example, not a role model. I feel like, role models, people think, they're perfect. You can't do anything wrong in them, but I'm an example, meaning that, you take everything I do, whether it be perfect, imperfect, all my actions, if you like them, if you don't, and you just learn from them.
Okay. Okay. And that's the golden rule for your lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Be an example, not a role model.
I think some people know you from Chicago, right?
Right.
Originally from Chicago, right?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that, man. Growing up in Chicago, what shaped you? What'd you learn? What is it about Chicago that groomed you to be the person you are?
I think it's the environment, because that's what helps people grow and molds people. But it's always going to be the environment. I remember, coming up, we couldn't even go outside without asking because there was, GDs and BDs on the porch. You know, um, they were always around in the neighborhood or whatnot. We always had to, watch out what friends that we had and who we talked to and things of that nature, man. And then another big thing was I remember like the first time I got a pair of Air Forces, man. I got like a pep talk about like people getting killed over their shoes and people getting beat up for their shoes and all of that. But you know, all of those things in general, looking back on them, even though it was, I would say they made me miserable as a child because I couldn't do what other children were doing and I couldn't have as much fun because, I had to actually go outside. So we weren't outside a lot. But, look back on it, it's groomed me who I am today. So I would just say that harsh, cold environment.
Okay. Um, you were mentioning to me you were a foster child. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that, the experience you had as a foster child. Um, I mean, kind of just touch on it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not the only one that's been in that position.
Hmm.
You're not the only one that's probably there's maybe somebody in the position right now. So what would you say about the experience, or what kind of advice would you give those people?
Um, Always remember that there's a reason why you're in foster care. And to not hold any grudges for the reason why. Because I feel like, so I'll start here, right? Yeah, I was a foster kid. I was in 4 foster homes. I was in a group home, Salvation Army home, boys home. Hell, I probably grew up in your home next to you, man. That's how many homes I was in, man. And so, when you go through the system like that and you're jumping from home to home, and then, you have some parents telling you, oh, your mom and dad didn't want you. I didn't particularly know who my dad was, but I'll say this. My mom was a product of the 80s. She was on drugs, right? And so her putting me in foster care was just her showing her how much she cared for me because she couldn't take care of me. So she said, I'm going to put my child in a position where someone else can take care of them because I can't. That right there is pure love. And I
How
think
old were you when you realized that, though?
uh, I was young. I was like 9, 10. I've never held anything against my mom for putting me in foster care. Never. Because I could remember as young as the age of 4, her, trying to come and see us, visiting us. And
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes, we would show up to the, I guess you could say, the foster care facility, and she wouldn't come and see us. We could guess the reason why for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never had any anger towards her, or any resentment towards her putting us in foster care, even though you meet a lot of people who try to get that out of you. Oh, your mom put you in foster care. If she cared about you, she would have tried to get you back. The lady was on drugs. Come on, you know and I recently discovered a sister of mine through Instagram. That's crazy, right? She
Mm.
reached out to me and told me that, because my mom, she's passed away now, but before she died, she was actually trying to, come back into our lives. And to be honest with you, I really do feel bad, because during the time of, let's say, even you know, uh, from my youngest age to when I could remember, all the way until, I think I found out she died in like 2018, 2017. Even up until then, I really didn't care about like reigniting with her. I just put it to, hey, I charged it to the game pretty much. Like, hey, this is my predicament, and this is it, But I just never had any resentment towards her.
And you was 9 in foster care.
Yeah, I was in foster care like, from what I can remember, at age 4, probably before then.
How many different homes did you go to?
Um,
You
like I
said 4
said,
different homes.
yeah, so 4 different foster homes, but if you add the group homes, I
So
think.
nobody ever adopted you or anything?
So yeah, great question too. I was adopted twice. So I was adopted by a gentleman who was like really into Christianity. Great person, and then I was adopted by my current mom, who's I call her Aunt Jean. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, growing up in Chicago, you seen a lot. You had to learn how to maneuver in that environment. Obviously, being pushed into foster care at an early age, you're probably paying attention and learning a lot along the way as well. Those are things obviously you probably apply to your life now. So, you went to the military too, right?
Yeah.
So what? Like after foster care, how old? Once you got to 18, what happened there?
So I got adopted. The second time I got adopted, I believe I was either 16 or 17. And so, actually, I was 17. I got adopted again my senior year, actually. And so, I didn't have no plan on going to college. I was sick of school. I didn't. My thing was rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my thing. I wanted to be a rapper,
Man, we was just talking up. Okay,
but
I'm gonna let
I
you have that right
uh,
now.
I wanted to be a rapper at the
You don't
time.
speak too highly of those rappers nowadays, huh?
No, I don't. No, I don't. No shame about it. But yeah, I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be rap was my thing. I was freestyle battling and everything. But yeah, I didn't have. I honestly, if I did not join the military, I don't know what my future would have been, because I didn't have a job at the time. Like I said, I didn't want to go to school. Um, and shout out to my Aunt Jean. The only reason why I joined the military is because, so I'll give you a little backstory. So I was a bad kid, right? And she used to always tell me, she used to always be like, hey, as soon as you cross the stage, you crossing the stage with your shit. You getting out of here, right?
Mhm.
Man, graduation day comes, you know, and she watches me walk across the stage and she leaves. And after graduation, everybody's like hanging out. I'm trying to like find out, where's my family at, man.
Mhm.
Nobody's there except for my Marine Corps recruiter. And so I just got so pissed. I just was like, you know what? I turned to him and I was like, hey, man, whatever you got to do to get me out of here, get me out of here. You know, I never forget, 2 days before that, a friend of mine had got shot in the head, who I was supposed to graduate with. You
Mm.
know, I never forget that. But yeah, I straight up told him, I said, whatever you got to do to get me out of here, man, just get me out of here. And so I became, dedicated to, becoming a Marine, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so you do the military thing, man. How long were you in for?
11 years.
11 years. Okay. So you got to travel, you go overseas, all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been to Afghanistan, been to Japan. Those are pretty. Where have I been anywhere else overseas? Been to Kazakhstan, and that's it for overseas.
Okay. Okay. So you get out of the military, man. Then what's next, man? We're building all the way up into this Trevor Woodruff that we see today. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
So,
you got to give us the backstory.
so the backstory on me getting out is, 2016, 17, I had became an entrepreneur. So I started with the ATM business, right? Man, and that was a jump for me itself, you know what I'm saying? And people were telling me not to do it, and I did it anyway because I was so miserable during that period of time in the military because I was a drill instructor and I was getting a certain I was only sleeping about 4 hours a night. You know what I'm saying? And I was so miserable. So started the ATM business. Then I bought my first house. I started renting the rooms out, and I started making as much money as I was making in the military. And then fast forward, I start doing, the combat, the custom flip flops, and then I tried selling bundles of hair, called called extensions by Trevor.
Extensions by Trevor
Yo,
is a thing.
yeah, it was a
That was a
thing.
thing.
Yes, and nobody bought any hair from me. They bought the flip flops, but no hair from me, man. And crazy thing about the flip flops, I sold out. I turned a $5,000 investment into $20,000 plus in like maybe 2 days.
Mm.
Sold out in 2 days. That's where I learned, how to use influencers to sell your stuff, how to use Instagram. Uh, Crazy, 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 man. When I sold out, I felt blessed. Like
Hmm.
I was just so happy. But my journey as an entrepreneur is what made me get out because I started learning about money. I started learning about politics. I started learning about economics, how things work. And I started realizing that we as people have been lied to by the media, lied to by politicians. And the biggest thing is lied to by our families, especially in the black community. And I don't want to say that our parents are so and so, they lied to us with the intentions of lying. It's just that the information they gave us just wasn't right, you know? So, but that's what made me get out. It just was something in my spirit, just during those last months, those last 2 years, that just was like, hey, something's not right. I'm learning this different stuff, and it opened up a whole new world to me where I couldn't stay in the military. I would be I would be doing myself a disservice if I stayed in the military.
Okay, so you didn't you was slinging bundles. Well, you didn't get no sales. You didn't
No,
get
no
nothing on
sales, no sales
with
doing the
the flip
bundles, man.
flops. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I would say, me not selling any bundles, that was important. The reason being is because I took all of those lessons that I was learning from the bundles, right? Because
Hmm.
it was e-commerce, and I put that into the flip flops because I started the flip flops like 2 days after I quit doing the bundles.
Oh, so the bundles was first.
Bundles was first. Extensions by Trevor was first, and then came the I think it was called the combat locker or something like that. I can't remember what I called it, but yeah, I got on board. I put it out there. I made sure I got with every military influencer. I sent them, free product, free,
Yeah,
hey, what battalion you in? Blah. I send it to you. I just need you to repost about it.
yeah.
And so got the hype up, and then everybody bought them, and it was, I was like so amazed at it. But I put the work in too, so it let me know how hard it is, just to get a product up and running, but you can do it. So, but that failure with the bundles, is what made the flip flops so successful. Because I took all those failures, instead of quitting, you know, I said, hey, I'm gonna make the do the whole flip flop thing, and we'll make it work. And I made it work.
Okay, now I mean, and that's a blessing,
Yeah.
and that's cool. So this is when your hustler's mentality is really taking a form and a shape, right?
Right.
And you probably didn't want to just be hustling flip flops for the rest of your life, right?
Dude.
So what was next? Oh,
Uh,
what? Oh, what? Oh, what?
so no, when I got out, I made the decision. I couldn't focus on. So I used to have employees. They ran my ATM business to the ground. So like I had the ATM business while doing all of this stuff, the real estate, the bundles, the flip flops, and so I made the decision, to just focus on one thing. I saw this Ty Lopez interview where he was talking about you can only focus is only on one thing. It's not on multiple things. You
Right.
can only give your 100% focus to
To
one
one
thing.
thing, yeah.
So when I saw that, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop doing all of this stuff and I'm just going to focus on real estate. Because real estate at the time, I didn't have to do much. You know what I'm saying?
Meaning,
Renters,
what's like? Tell me what you mean by that.
so like, I rented rooms out. So I rented rooms out and they paid me every single month. I didn't have to do much.
Right,
With the
right, right.
ATM business, I got to make sure people are getting paid because I had employees. I got to make sure they going to
To
refill
load the machines.
load the machines. I got to talk to the business owners, make sure they getting a 35% split with the
That's the split when you're doing ATMs.
that's what I was doing. I was doing 35%. So
That's a lot, ain't it?
yeah, I mean, it is a lot. It is a lot, but I mean, whatever it is, what it is,
So out of 100%, they get 35% of it,
Yeah.
and then you still got to pay your employees too.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you,
It
the
add up
more,
though,
yeah,
huh?
it
And
adds
it
up
works
once you
for
grow.
itself to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, ATM business is none but recycling money. You really don't lose money other than the money that you get from money that you give to the actual business owners themselves. But other than that, no, ATM business is a great business model, man. Great.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, like yeah, I just decided to do, real estate. I was like, real estate's it. Not to mention, real estate is where you get the actual generational wealth, and I gotta put that in quotations.
Mm-hmm.
You get the actual generational wealth that everybody talks about, the
Mm-hmm.
passive income and all of that stuff. But yeah, so I just decided to, hey, I'm gonna focus on that one thing.
Okay. So you went to real estate school or what? You
No,
became an agent or you
no,
just started
no. I just
renting the rooms and then
no.
what came
So
from that?
no. So like so what I started doing. So like I said, so bought my first crib, had 4 bedrooms in it, right? I had 1 bedroom, and I said, hey man, it's only me here, right? So I'm gonna rent out the other 3 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
That paid my mortgage, and then once I got stationed in South Carolina and I rented out my room, I had extra money, and that paid my mortgage in for my Mercedes Benz that I drove at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, once I got to South Carolina, that's where I started learning about fix and flips, and I helped people with their fix and flips. And then after that, I started getting more buy and holds, and I started learning about seller finance and all of this other stuff. So I didn't. I never wanted to become an agent just because being an agent, as great as it is, they gotta pay commissions and all of this other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You know, I got really interested in being an actual real estate investor. And so now I'm trying to get out of single family and I'm trying to get into multifamily. I'm in that realm of learning about multifamily.
Okay, so for the listeners that don't know, give them the breakdown, the difference between single and multifamily.
So multifamily is, which is commercial, is 5 units and above, and then single family is one door, but you can say it's 1 to 4 units, so residential.
Okay, okay. And you say you've been learning more about that space. So what is
Yes.
it that you're trying to do with the information that you're?
So I love Grant Cardone, right? And so what he does is like pretty cool, and because
You love who?
Grant Cardone.
Oh, okay.
So he does real estate syndications. That's the space that I want to get into. Because during the pandemic, I did realize, you know what I'm saying, having that one door is not enough, right? Because let's say, for example, a family can no longer pay their mortgage or whatnot, then you get into, you know, financial trouble and whatnot. But when you have multiple doors, one person doesn't pay, but you have other people who can pay, you know what I'm saying, keeps you out of financial, you know, troubles.
Okay.
So having more than one door, you know, the funny thing is that Grant Cardone's been saying that since who knows how long, and I just learned it in, you know, 2020, and I think I'm probably gonna, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna sell the properties I do have, and then I'm gonna take the money and buy multifamily.
Okay. Same area, or what do you think about as far as that?
No, Missouri.
Oh, that's
Missouri,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
because the thing is that, you know, this is a blue state, so it's not landlord friendly. It's tenant friendly. Tenants have more rights than landlords here. So
We need to go where you can
yeah,
flip that over.
I would never buy a property in a blue state. Never.
Okay. Okay. Last time you were here, man, we talked about how important the father, particularly the black father, is in the household.
Right.
Um, we touched on single motherhood. We touched on a lot of stuff. So let's like revisit some of those things, man. Tell me, you know, where you up to speed with it? What you see being some of the issues? What you see being some of the things that we could work on, and some of the pluses too. You got to have some pluses, please. At least have some
I'll
plus.
say I'll say this. You know, since last time we talked, you know, Kevin Samuels, you know, opened up a conversation for black families, particularly black men and black women, to have about the relationships that we have.
Okay.
He opened up that door, and I think, you know, now that we're having the conversation, a lot of people don't like it because now it's everywhere. Relationships are everywhere, but we're seeing the differences that of opinions that men have and women have, and we just need to get to a point where we could come together and be together. You know.
Okay. Okay. Um, I hate to get back on it, but you were talking about rap music, man, earlier. We talked about rap music earlier, and you're saying that it's having a negative effect and influence on our kids today.
Yes.
Rap is one of the biggest problems that's influencing our kids in a negative way.
I want you to remember this. I'm saying it's one of the problems. There's multiple
Right,
problems
right,
there.
right. Okay,
There's
so let's
multiple
kind of
problems,
like bring that all full
but we
circle.
can't. But it's one of the problems. The thing is, we can't blame it predominantly on rap because overall it's parenting, right? But one of the reasons why, and one of the causes of our culture is rap music. The city girl lifestyle, the whole glorifying of being a thug and a gangster and a pimp and all of this stuff. You know, because music influences people. There's no denial there, you know. So, yes, rap is one of the problems in our community.
Okay. Along with,
The parenting, not having fatherless homes, the mothers letting their children get away with anything, letting the school be the main teacher of our children. There's multiple things.
yeah, I have to agree with some of those. Definitely. Um, what else, man? What else we gonna talk about, man? We gotta, you know, you a controversial dude, man. What else you see? What else you see going on in this world that you think we should be keeping our eyes to the streets about, man? You know, obviously, a lot of us are consumed in this rap music and all these other
There's
things.
a
So,
there's
what are some other things that you think, you know, we should be looking out for?
look. I think that us as individuals, we should always strive to better ourselves and better our lives. I think one big problem that everybody has is, learning about life in general, and also about passing the knowledge that you have learned to your children or to someone younger than you.
I think that's where we're struggling.
And I also think, there's a problem with children listening because, children, young adults, they feel like they know everything. They don't want to listen. It's funny because, I talk to people and I'm just like, when I was a kid, I didn't listen either. Because the information I was getting to, I hadn't experienced none of that. And it was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Or you think you already know. You think you
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
And then you got somebody that's older than you trying to give you the game, but
Yeah, but I think
so they're not receptive.
they're not receptive. And
But do you think that we're teaching? Like I
I don't
remember
think that'll change.
growing up, we there were certain things like the only reason that we could be in a room full of black people that's to a certain extent our same age group, right? And a lot of the key values, we all know those values, which means that all of our parents was teaching us that stuff. Do you think that's still happening? You don't think that's still happening now?
In our community, I think I would say this. I think it does happen. It's just a lot of times kids don't listen, or like I said, they think they know everything. But I'll say this. Remember last time I was on the podcast, I said we're in a digital age. Something is in a book or it's on a computer. The information is the information. If you want to learn how to do anything, the information is out there. If you want to be successful in
Now,
whatever.
you don't think that plays an influence in the behavior of children now? As opposed to
What do you mean?
the exposure that they have to every single thing at their fingertip.
Depends on what they use it for.
Well,
The
that's what I'm
internet's
saying. Not all kids at this place in time. A
Because
young
it's-
kid, they're going to be using it for whatever they are curious about. Remember back in the day where we can hear something or see something, but we don't understand it until it's in the proper context, right? Now, if they can spell something, they can type it in and they can get videos of it,
At an instant. Yeah.
photos of it,
YouTube, Instagram.
descriptions of it,
Yeah.
all of that. So you don't think that maybe plays a part in, some of the negative behavior within the community too?
No,
And that would just not be in the black
Well, I would
community.
say- well,
that
I
would
would
be
say
with
this.
everybody. Kids don't know how to build bombs and
I'll-
mass shootings and just where to get the ammunition, how to build a rifle, how to make this, you could learn all that on there.
I'll say this. It's all about what you do with the tools.
Okay.
On Instagram, you could look up fights. You could look up, what rapper, got killed, what rapper got shot. Or you could look up, stuff about, how to make money, how to be successful, how to dress well on there. It's all about what you do with the tools. That's what it's about. So I can't say that.
But
I think YouTube,
young kids aren't guided with what they're using it for. You know what I'm saying? And I think that goes back to parenting. though.
it does go back to parenting because I would say this, at the end of the day, parents don't spend the most time with their kids. At least not in our communities. Most times parents are off at their job 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, however long they work or whatnot. But they spend more time at school with their friends, in the streets, outside, whatever you want to call it. That's where they get majority of their influences from. So whoever they're hanging with, remember this saying, right? Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
We always got a quote of the day. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. Run it back one more time on the main.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Okay.
Who are you hanging around? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Are you hanging around 5 bums? Because if so, you're the 6th one. So who? Because these people are the ones who are influencing you day to day. And we can't. I know people be like, "Oh, I don't let people influence me." Yes, and we all do. We all do. It's human nature. We all get influenced by what people do, what we see people doing, how cool it is. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if they're in a position you want to be in.
Exactly.
Yeah, most definitely. So I blame the internet, not
Yeah.
rap.
When I was a kid, I used to steal a lot, right? I used to steal a lot. Chatham grocery store. We used to go there and steal all the time. The only reason why I was stealing is because my friends were doing it. It was cool. It was
Allegedly, right?
no
Oh,
no
you
no
get past the statute of limitation.
no. I was stealing. Hey,
He
those
said, "No, I was stealing."
those ladies in there knew my face. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Used to come in there with my big coat on and stuff sneakers and Snickers in my sleeves. You know what I'm saying? Grab a
He
Snickers.
said, "See, I still know how to do it."
But yeah, like only reason why I was doing it is because it was cool. They would go to school with chips and all this stuff and eat during class and stuff like that. I wanted to do it, so guess what? I joined the pack and I did it. And sugar.
Charleston White, man, talk to me. You seem to be someone that could see eye to eye with a Charleston White kind of guy. Somebody that you would take to with some of their concepts and philosophies and theories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do like what he says sometimes, but then I also feel like other times he acting like Samuel off Django. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of getting that vibe from you too, brother. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm gonna be
Let's
honest.
talk about it.
Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. I think anybody who rises above out of our community, people want to, put that narrative on them. Just because they speak the truth that nobody else wants to say in
Okay.
our community.
Okay.
I feel like Charleston White, he says a lot of uncomfortable truths in our community. He does. And the problem is that a lot of people can't take it because the truth is uncomfortable. Because as men, we have to call out stuff. As men, we have to call stuff for what it is. And the problem is that the men in our community are weak. They are. We're supposed to be the cornerstone of the community. We're supposed to be the foundation of the family. We're weak. So, and that's why I could say a lot of people don't like him. Now some of the stuff he says is just to be funny, but when you go behind what he's saying, what did J. Cole, he said, some jokes do hold truths. He's right about what he talks about.
Don't you dare quote no rap song right now.
He's right.
Don't you think about it. Nope.
He's right. He's right when he's talking about, how he grew up and, the connections between, the violence, the environment, the person. He's right about all of these things. He's right about, he's right about us black people, and how our culture is. Our culture is belligerent. It is. Now, that's not to say everybody is in, every black person is a horrible person. Nobody's trying to say that. But Kevin Samuel said something that was very amazing. He said it's the ethnic image. It's the ethnic image. Our ethnic image is terrible. That's why people are scared of us. Hell, I'm scared of some black people. I get in some of these neighborhoods, I make sure I got my seatbelt on and I make sure my door is locked. And I know other black people feel like that too when they're in certain neighborhoods and in certain places. And the only thing we could do is blame ourselves for that. We have to fix ourselves before anybody else, tries to help us out. You can't throw money at the problem. The problem is that, Mother Teresa, she said, you want to solve the problems of the world, go home and start with your family. We have to go home and start with our families. We have to start saying, hey, this is wrong. I'm not going to let this happen. We have to start letting fathers be in their sons' and daughters' lives because the father is the most important piece to the family structure. That's mine.
That's your shit?
Yeah.
Well, that was a strong last note you had said anyway. Well, man, we've been all over the place with it today. Question. It's 2024. New opportunities, new year. What is it looking like for you, man? What you got going on? What you got in store?
Well, I can't really tell you much about what I have in store, but I'll say this: 2023 for me was a year of distractions. I didn't really get none done. I felt like I was on defense a lot during last year. I was playing defense. I didn't get much done. I wasn't really productive. This year, the goal is to be productive every single day. The goal is to make the things that I want to happen, despite whatever I may be going through, right? Because I went through a lot last year. But like I said, I was on defense. So no matter what happens to me, I need to make the things that I want in my life happen.
So you're eliminating the excuses and staying focused on the. You're keeping the
No,
main thing the main thing. No
no,
distractions.
no distractions. I have to keep going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would get to a destination and encounter a problem, and I would stop. After that problem was over, I try to continue, and then I would, encounter another problem. Stop. This time it's nah, review for all the problems. No distractions whatsoever. I got to get to where I'm going.
What's some advice you would give someone with similar beliefs as you as far as not wanting to get a regular job? Say somebody's out there that says, "Hey, man, I don't agree with a lot of the policies that they want to implement. I don't really, dig working for anyone else." What's some of the advice you would give that person stepping into a space like that?
I would say if you have to have a job, then get a job. Remember, your plan B should always be how to make your plan A work. If you can't make your plan A work, okay, get the job, keep the job. But make sure whatever money you have and whatever free time you got goes back towards that plan A.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I don't believe in having plan Bs. I think you should just, jump off the limb and go with your plan A. But if you have to have a job, if you 100% have to have a job, take it. But let it know. Just remember, it's not your
It's a
end all
stepping
be
stone.
all. That's all it is a stepping stone. Keep your head down, keep trucking, keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And one day you'll look up and you won't have that job, or you'll be owning, that company, or you'll be a owner of the company. But yeah, just I think that's important. Not everybody could be in the position that I'm in, and I know today, people speak negatively on jobs, but I think, a job is it's still as powerful as it was 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to get money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember, you can't make any money without money.
Right.
So
Right. What's next, man? I mean, you got any other big things that you plan on doing in the new year? As far as, I know you're in real estate. You're looking to go into the
multifamily.
family.
I have some other stuff. I don't really want to speak on them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll have to bring you back for another one, huh?
Yeah, you'll have to most definitely bring me back, man.
Okay. Make sure you give everybody your ats, man. Everybody needs your ats, because this dude's got a lot of thoughts, concepts, philosophies. We couldn't get them all out today. This interview's probably all over the place, but I hope it was informational. But just give them all your ats, how they can stay connected with you, etc.
Okay, so my Instagram handle is Trevor M. Woodruff. My YouTube is Trevor M. Woodruff. And what else do I have? Everything is Trevor M. Woodruff. Let's put it like that.
Okay. So they can tap in with you, man. What else we got, man? You already gave us the quote of the day, man. You got anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you've been working with, or any programs, or any new albums you heard that you want to...
Well, I'll put it like this. I'll give a shout out to you, man. You're still in the podcast space. You haven't quit yet. You know what I'm saying? We got to get those viewers up. And we also, contracts, remember that? We also got to get those subscriptions up. But, dude, shout out to you, because a lot of people would have quit by now. You're a year in. You might not be seeing the numbers you want to see.
No, we more than a year in.
Oh, really?
But yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been at this shop for a year, but yeah, as far as the podcast space, we've been going for a little
Maybe-
longer, but keep on going
maybe
with that
Jaden
because I like
was
the way
right.
this was sound.
Maybe Jaden was right.
What?
Because he was like, my interview was like 2 years ago. It feels like
Yeah, it
it was a year
was.
ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, really? It feels like it was a year ago. But regardless of the fact, a lot of people, they get to a point where the numbers aren't going, you know what I'm saying? The team is dwindling down and all this, and they quit. You haven't quit yet. That's what's powerful, man. So, you're focused. You're not quitting, you know what I'm saying? So wherever you're trying to get to, I'm pretty sure you're going to get there, man. So shout out to
appreciate
you,
that,
man.
Big salute. That's the first time I got shout out on the show. You know what I mean? I appreciate that, brother. It's very encouraging. Next time you see me, I had a wingtips with the 3-piece suit on. Like, hey. Nah, I'm just playing. That's your style, man. You killing that too.
Thanks,
man,
I appreciate
by the
it.
way. I really feel like when people say dress for success or dress for the job that you're trying to get, I feel like that's you, man. You know what I mean? Like you get up, you put the shit on, and you make it look good, man.
I'll
So
give you a
salute
quote,
to that.
man. I'll give you another quote. So
Another one.
Yeah, so Dan Pena said something.
2 quotes of the day. You know what I mean? Go ahead now.
So Dan Pena said something that was powerful. He said, you only have 2 times to make a first impression. 1 with the way you dress, and 2, the way you speak. After that, it's all action. So remember that. And then another thing is, I know a lot of people would be like, you know what I'm saying, you're overdressed. No, everybody underdressed. Remember, you set the tone.
Y'all heard it here first at the Hotseat Podcast. Again, it's the Hotseat Podcast, always putting a spotlight on entrepreneurs, small business owners, black-owned businesses, athletes, artists, musicians, in our community. Today, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Trevor Woodruff. This is his 2nd episode. If you didn't see his first one, go back. You'll see the growth as well. Make sure y'all follow him. Until then, if this show was good for you, if you learned anything and you enjoyed it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, love, peace, and nappiness. Yee!
Nappiness.
Yep. And it's a wrap.
All right.
Good shit.